Welcome to the show. Jason Bible, Robert Ruffino, Texas Real Estate Mastermind. We're talking about being a lord.
A landlord, yep.
You know, there was a deal that I was getting hit with on Facebook for a while where you could pay, I don't know, a couple $100 and be knighted. Like you could be a lord of like some random...
I saw that. A little patch of land, like a square inch in Scotland or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I think
that's awesome.
I think we need to get that because we are lords.
Landlords, yes.
It's kind of like
landlord, yeah.
It's kind of like if you guys watch that movie with Nicolas Cage, who is actually, that movie was written after the Russian arms dealer that Biden did such a great job negotiating the release of.
Oh, the Lord of War.
Yeah, Lord of War. If you guys have ever watched Lord of War, so what happens is Nicolas Cage's character, who's played, who's loosely based off that Russian guy, goes to South Africa. Where does he go? I can't remember what country it was, but like a lot of these guys down there, they're actually American educated, which is really interesting. So he's chatting with this guy, super sharp guy. Of course, he's killing a lot of people. But anyway, he goes, I'm not calling you warlord. I'm calling you Lord of War. And Nicolas Cage is like, all right, whatever. And that's the name of the movie. And it is excellent if anybody's ever seen it.
You know, they call me the Lord of War. But perhaps it is you.
It's not Lord of War. It's Warlord.
Thank you, but I prefer it my way.
Great, Lord of War. We're Lord of Land.
Lord of Land, yep.
On that happy note,
I was going to say, okay.
genocide
so
and everything.
Promoting you to sell arms to dictators anywhere.
That's right.
But, you know, hey, if you're a landlord, you're going through some certain things right now. You saw insurance go up. You saw your taxes go up. Just the cost of everything is going up. The lack of labor in the market is hurting you. It is a struggle to find someone to cut grass, believe it or not.
Yes.
Right? It's actually a real challenge. So as a landlord, you're going through these things, and, you know, we want to make sure that you're not alone. Everyone is feeling this little pinch right here. And whether you have...
maybe. I don't know. Most people have like 2 rental properties.
Yeah,
so
I know,
like,
but that could be really big for them, right? Because as soon as the air... And it's been so hot here in the country.
This is awful.
Everyone's getting air conditioning calls, and we keep getting them. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the air conditioner. The house is hot.
It's 100 outside.
It's 106 in certain places.
And let me explain what that, because I know you people from Phoenix, from Arizona, Nevada are going to tell me, well, here's the deal. When it's this humid, everything, like the air has to cool down. Like, so when you're in Phoenix, it's 9,000 degrees, right? It's like the surface of the sun. But when you get to the shady part, now there's no shady part of the sun, but when the sun goes down, you know, that heat kind of disappears. Like it's out of the air. It actually gets, my understanding is what actually happens is it's radiant heat goes back up in the atmosphere.
Correct.
The problem is that everything is so humid here, the air holds that heat in.
Yeah.
It's like you're swimming in it.
And then even today, it's going to be even hotter because there's a layer of clouds, right? So that doesn't allow that radiant to go up to space. It bounces back down. This is why at 4:00 this morning, it was 83 degrees.
Yeah. And 98% humidity.
Yeah. Horrible.
Absolutely atrocious.
But anyway, if you're a landlord, you probably have gotten the air conditioning call. We've gone over this before, but just know there's a delta on that AC unit. At best it can do is 23 degrees. So if it's, 106 degrees outside, and maybe without anything running, it would be 95 inside. So then you're at best going to get 75, right? That's going to be the big thing. And so we have people at our Airbnbs. We're walking in, it's set to 50.
Yeah.
Freezing the unit. We're sending claims against them. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
It's just like, the people who don't understand air conditioning or don't own the air conditionings don't care, right? They just want it cold, and they'll just hit that button all the way down.
Well, and it's like, hey, your brand new home built in Katy or Woodlands or wherever you live. Yeah, you could pump that bad boy down to 69
tight,
degrees.
Super insulated. Yep.
Now, the house on the beach built in 1965 that has zero insulation on it.
It didn't have air conditioning in 65, and it did okay.
Yeah,
right?
and it did just fine.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to crank those window units down. It's like it's still hot. It's like I don't know what to tell you, man. It was built 60 years ago.
It's hot in this room right now.
Yeah, we're sweating. We ought to complain to the landlord. Where's the landlord at? We're in our building, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. We're gonna go complain to the landlord. Go complain to Kate. She can hear us from here, right? It's like, it's hot in here. She's turn those lights off. Stop talking so much.
Yeah. Ooh, I just got a nice little. That's
It was a little breeze,
Yeah,
yeah.
right on my legs. Very nice.
Now, for the record, I can feel it. So, for the record,
That's
when
it.
we were in Southern California, the AC stopped working in the hotel conference room. This was a Hilton, right?
Yep.
This wasn't like, Joe's Hotel.
Mhm.
AC stopped working, and they didn't bother to get it fixed the entire time we were
We'll
there.
get to it next week.
Yeah. We'll
Just
get to it
open
next
this door right here.
just open the door. This
It'll be
is
fine.
this is August. And they're like, open the door. And I'm like, for not having AC, it's not bad. If it were Texas, there'd be people dead. Like it's just
so
too brutal.
We were in California last week, and I thank everyone who came out and hung out with us in California. We really do appreciate it. But I when I was calling back here, I was saying, hey, it's 78 degrees, blue skies with a cool ocean breeze. And this would be the greatest weather day in Houston all year. And here it's just a Wednesday.
Well, yeah. Well, no, actually in LA, they were like, guys, it's a little hot.
Oh,
today.
they were like,
they were complaining. They were like, it's a little
Get
hot.
down to 58 overnight.
It's a little humid. And I was like, I'm going to start throat punching some of you spoiled brats.
It was 75% humidity. And you're like, oh, it's a rough one today. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So Rob would come out and meet me at the car. He's like, why are you standing in the sun? I'm like, because I can.
Because you can.
Because it's cold in the shade.
Why can you were wearing jeans in your baseball jersey?
Yeah. Oh, they love that. I wore that thing all over the place. The Dodgers people were like, "Guys are a bunch of cheaters." I'm like, I don't know, man. There seems to be a trophy sitting there. Two of them now, sitting there at the clubhouse. But anyway, so it was almost cold in the shade at 2:00 in the afternoon.
So I think one of the ahas for us was rent control. And obviously, if you don't pay attention to it as a landlord, you're going to fall greatly behind the 8 ball.
So what was interesting is you hear all this stuff about how bad rent control is. I'm like, okay, well, how bad is it?
Well, as compared to what?
As compared to what?
Yeah.
Which I keep telling people, like most people just pop off at the mouth and they don't really think about what they say. So I'm like, there were a couple of people like rent control. And I'm like, oh, what is it?
Right.
And so I actually pulled what the state law is. It's not that bad.
No.
And I quite honestly, like outside of the monetary piece, I think that's probably the way you should conduct yourself as a landlord.
Right. So
like the no fault eviction stuff, I don't think that is bad. Like I thought that's how you should kind of treat other human beings. Let me explain rent control, the state law. It's different, can be different by county and city. Like Santa Monica, you poor landlords, I don't know how you guys are making money, but the state law is pretty simple. It's you can increase rents at 5% plus CPI, which they provide you every year. So plus the consumer price index, or 10%, whichever is lower.
Right.
So at a minimum, you're probably getting a 7% bump every year.
And last year you got a really big one.
You got a huge one last year because they froze it for COVID, right? And then their at-fault evictions, I don't think are that egregious. Now, don't get me wrong; they can stay in the home for a long time.
It's gonna take a long time, right?
Play those games and stuff. And then the no-fault eviction piece, I thought was pretty reasonable. It's like, hey, look, here's reasons like owners moving in, starting to do renovations. You have to help the tenant with assistance in moving, and I'm like, I kind of agree with some of that stuff.
So for me, it was a state provided argument. Whereas we just want to raise the rent, we want to raise it every year, and we have an automatic step up for I think 5% in most of our leases. But we should build into that lease. Hey, it's 5% plus CPI.
So here's what we're talking about internally. We're talking about advertising Mr. Texas Real Estate rent control.
Yeah,
and it will mirror what we do in California
for sure.
Because I think a 5% base plus CPI is completely reasonable.
Even 3, but what it says to them is, hey, the CPI this year was 4.
Yeah,
that means that everything that we're paying for has gone up.
Yes,
and so we need to raise your rent, right? And I think there is a sort of, if you're not communicating that, right? If you're not talking to the tenants about my insurance on this property doubled this year, I have to raise the rent.
Yeah.
Right. But if you have that sort of normal escalator inside the lease, I think that's the way to go.
So I just pulled up the Chapwood Index, and the Chapwood Index follows inflation by market. And Houston, the last year, we've got 2022. So Houston's Chapwood Index went up 11.2% last year.
Your rent should be up 11%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, the average since 2016 is 10%. It's a lot. 2016 was
Rents are
8.9.
not keeping up. Yep.
Yeah, 8.9, 8.7, 8.8, 9.7, 13.36. That was first half of 21 and first half of 22, and then 22 was 11.28, and we're average about 10%. So it was a lot. It's let's see, they have LA on here. 11, 11, 6, 12, 12, 6, 18, 15 for an average of 13.53. Yeah. That's called the Chapwood Index. Everyone talks about, oh, it's so much cheaper here. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. We were going out to, we had some amazing sushi in the Home Depot parking lot.
The Home Depot parking lot, a little strip mall in the Home Depot parking lot. Best sushi I've had in a long time.
That sushi was on par with the 2 best sushi places in Houston.
Yeah, for sure.
And those 2 best sushi places in Houston, you're dropping $150 a person.
Yeah.
Easy. And there it was what?
All you can eat, $29 for lunch.
Yeah. And it was as good
as
some of the best stuff here in Houston. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But anyway, if you're a landlord, hey, you're going to be going through lots of stuff. We do a monthly event called the Landlord Workshop. We'd love to see you on it. It will help you cover understanding, hey, here's some of the things we do in rehab. Here are some of the things we provide. Here are some of the things we don't provide. Hey, this is how we manage our properties. Hey, this is how we find tenants. So we've got a series, I believe, of 4 of them, and they constantly rotate. So definitely check out the Landlord Workshop. You go to mrtxre.com, mrtxre.com. That is our website. You'll see the event. It's there every month. It's the Landlord Workshop. We'd love to help you out. If you're a landlord, and if you're looking to become a landlord for sure, you want to start following us and getting involved in what we're doing. Anything else for landlords?
I think that's it. Go be a good lord of the land.
Lord of the land. Okay.
Use your power only for good.
All right, guys. Thanks.